Buongiorno a tutti. Abbiamo avuto modo di prenderci una pausa, pranzare e riprendere, questa serie di incontri. Eh, Questa mattina, quando Federico Ferrazza, il direttore di Wired Italia, è salito su questo palco, ha detto: oggi parleremo di futuro. Ma il futuro che ci interessa, diceva, era non tanto quello che possiamo immaginare in un tempo indefinito davanti a noi, ma quello che è presente oggi. Quali sono gli strumenti che possiamo utilizzare oggi per costruire il prossimo futuro. Ecco, adesso inizieremo questo pomeriggio per parlare di fiction design e speculative design. In pratica la domanda a cui vogliamo rispondere è: com'è possibile o è possibile immaginare oggetti o servizi che ancora non esistono, bisogni che ancora non esistono, tecnologie che ancora non esistono? Questo in apparenza è un cortocircuito rispetto a quanto detto prima sul futuro, ma secondo noi non lo è, perché ovviamente iniziare a ragionare e riflettere su quelli che possono essere degli oggetti o dei servizi che ancora non esistono è una metodologia molto anche efficace e interessante per discutere e per comprendere la complessità del presente di oggi. Quindi non è un gioco, a somma zero, ma può dare degli strumenti per capire chi siamo oggi, qual è la nostra identità, come stiamo cambiando e come ci stiamo trasformando come individui e come società. Per farlo abbiamo un secondo ospite internazionale di questa giornata, Bruce Sterling, giornalista, critico, scrittore, uno dei padri del cyberpunk, autore di science fiction e anche la prima copertina di Wired USA, la prima edizione del giornale di Wired. Invito a stare sul palco Bruce Sterling.
So we have 20 minutes and 20 slides. So I'm going to whip right through these. Hopefully. Yes, here we go. So this is me about 10 years ago doing some design fiction theory. And I'm thinking about the future of design in Italy, which is a great place to think about the future of design. So, I'm trying to loosen up the thinking of like the difference between objects we have today and objects we might have tomorrow. So you can see that the oggetti convenzionali, the conventional object you can buy in a store or on Amazon, are just a small part of a large universe of potential future objects. And you can think outside the box of what is profitable or buildable or desirable. You can think of these circles as being like wheels that turn with the passage of time. So the things people want yesterday are not what we want today, and our desires will be different tomorrow. And there will be new business models, new ways to make money, and companies that go broke. And there will be new techniques for building things, and there will be techniques that become obsolete. So the world of conventional objects is always in flux, and they're commonly replaced by these unconventional objects on the outside. So I'm not going to tell you how to do design fiction because design is a little bit difficult, but I'm going to acquaint you with some of these stars of design fiction, people who can do it. Not what to do, but who does it. And if you follow these people, you will learn a lot in a hurry. Where am I sliding? Somewhere. I was doing great earlier. Up there we go. Okay, so this is the maestro and maestra of speculative design. Yeah. This is Fiona Raby and Anthony Dunn. And they are professors of design, interaction design. And a lot of their students are from the Royal College of Art in London, and they have become stars of, many of their students have become stars of speculative design. And they do a lot of work in museums, academies, they've written books. It works? Okay, great. Yeah, there we go. This is the group Near Future Laboratory. The guy in the center there is named Julian Bleecker. He's the man who invented the term design fiction about 12 or 13 years ago. He's from California. Two of this group are Europeans. That's Fabian Girardin in the back and Professor Nicola Nova from HEAD in Switzerland. And the guy to the left is Nick Foster. He's an Australian, and he is currently the head of design for Google X Labs after being in Near Future Laboratory, or actually Alphabet X Labs. So about 2 months ago, I went to visit Nick in Mountain View at Alphabet X Labs, and he showed me some of the work they were attempting to do in the X laboratory. And I would love to tell you what they were doing in there, but I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. It was interesting. So this is, this is Superflux, Anab Jain and John Arden. They have a larger group, but they were the founders of Superflux. They're from London. They do a lot of work for government, for business. They've done a lot of very impressive design fiction videos. They really kind of specialize in short, very well put together, futuristic videos of imaginary products and services. These two people are the stars of Italian design fiction. This is Salvatore Iaconese and Oriana Persico, and they're there with a bunch of their invented objects, which of course are not conventional objects. They're just invented things. I mean, very, very unusual. They're from Rome. They're very funny. I mean, Oriana and Salvatore. They're funny like Zetto Calcati. That's funny. And they're very unusual people, but they really know a lot about design fiction. I mean, they've taught it all over the world. I mean, they've taught design fiction in New York, and really, I have a great deal of respect for Oriana and Salvatore. I'm always happy to see them. And then this is a group, another Italian group, really an international group, who are called Automata Farm. And Automata Farm is basically Simone Rebedengo and whoever he's working with at the time. And this guy, Simone Rebedengo, he's more of a technology artist than a design fiction person, even though you can see he's doing some extremely anti-conventional work here. This guy, in my opinion, is really a kind of creative genius. I mean, he does just like really brilliant projects that involve, devices, digital objects, machines, interventions. I mean, they're art machines, kind of device art. It's very hard to define what he's doing. I think he should be world famous, really. I mean, this is kind of the Italian contribution to this area, and he's really doing some important work. I mean, the difficulty there is like how to promote things like this, because they're not objects you can buy in a store. I mean, nobody's ever going to make 500,000 of them. They're more like collector's items or display items. He's doing pretty well. Actually, he has shows in China. He's had shows in Brazil. He's becoming famous in technology art circles. But I think there's some like serious cultural work that Italy needs to do with things like this. And I've argued before that Italy should lead the world in technology art. And this guy, Simone Rebedengo, is really part of the avant-garde there. So let's talk about the future a little. So if you went to the Davos World Economic Forum, or even if you just listened to them, you would know that the year 2019 is supposed to be about globalization 4.0, industry 4.0, industria 4.0, and maybe some 5G. So this is some 5G in Torino. I love them. Spent a lot of time in Torino. They're always inventing things and then somebody else makes all the money. That's what the Torinese are all about. God bless them. I've seen them do it again and again. I understand Bari has some 5G too now, like the Baresi keen to have some 5G. Okay, I saw 1G, 2G, I saw 3G, I saw 4G. Okay, those were actual technologies. I have to tell you, 5G is more of a slogan. I mean, 5G is just a lot of things that don't really belong in the same room. But the Turinese will have some. Absolutely. And if they offer me any, I'm going to get some. Gotta love it. Okay, here's Industry 4.0, Industria 4.0. Obviously, the Italians love this. They're all over it. A ton of Industria 4.0. It's basically the European Union version of the Internet of Things. But Italians just all over it. You can't keep them away from it. They love Industria 4.0. And here's Globalization 4.0. It's slightly different from 3.0. Seems to have more nets on it for some reason. I don't know. And here's Klaus Schwab, who's the head of the World Economic Forum. And he's saying in English that Globalization 4.0 is here, but nobody is prepared. Which is very good news for Italy, because it means you're just as well prepared as everybody else. I mean, you know a lot about Industria 4.0, and you've got plenty of 5G. And, what about Globalization 4.0? It's just not a big problem. So, here's Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum, and he's trying to think about the future, as I do too. And you can see from this illustration that Klaus is using basically design tools to do that. I mean, he's got a laptop computer. I've got a laptop computer. He's got a notebook. I've got a notebook. He's got a watch. I've got a watch. He's got glasses. I've got glasses. He has a pair of binoculars. Globe of the world. Okay, I have a globe of the world in Torino. He's got a nice suitcase. I have a nice suitcase. He has one thing I don't have. He has a business suit. They're not that expensive. If you want a suit, you can go get one. Other than that, you're pretty much at the same starting gun with Klaus here. I mean, you can do all this work. I mean, you have the same tools he has. There's no reason you can't do what he's doing. So I'm going to conclude with one of my favorite works of design fiction here. And this is a work of design fiction because it comes from Near Future Laboratory. And this is about 12 years old, and you can see it says Near Future Laboratory up at the top. This is a device called the Slow Messenger. So the Slow Messenger is an instant messaging service. It's an SMS device. It just sends digital messages very slowly, like very, very slowly, like 10 years to get a message, right? And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why would I want to send a digital message that takes 10 years to arrive? Well, why do you want to send an instant one? Why do they always have to be fast? Why can't you have slow digital? It wouldn't be that difficult to, dress up slow digital and put it in a nicer package if you wanted. Would anybody buy it? Maybe not. But this represents a kind of hole in our thinking. I mean, we don't think about the long-term implications of the digital things that we've done. Even though we've already done Industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5 is coming, 6 is coming, 7 is coming. Why are we in a hurry? But why don't we think about it? Why don't we think about it with the slowness of other forms of industrial development? For instance, here's me in Torino at Thales, Alessia, in the aerospace barn, and I'm standing next to a piece of Italian space technology. And it's pretty old. And it's not, even though it moves very quickly, it's, a piece of space tech, a satellite that's 30 or 40 years old. And I was born 3 years before Sputnik. So I'm as old as the space age is, right? And you can see I'm not a young person. I'm not running around, at high speed. I mean, I'm a man of mature years here, and the space, we're not racing in space. We have space. We might have commercial tourism in space. There have been 500 people in space. I have met Italian astronauts. I have met Samantha Cristoforetti, Captain Cristoforetti. Okay, she's an astronaut and she's Italian, but she's not like someone from Marvel Comics. She's not an angel or a superhuman person. Samantha is one of us. She's very popular in social media. She really has the democratic touch. And she spent more time in space than anyone else. She was in the International Space Station for months and months, came back, had a child. Like, what is Captain Cristoforetti doing right now? Well, she's raising the little Cristoforetti. I think that's a very good idea. Real futurists have children. I'm all in favor of Captain Cristoforetti doing that. I think that's the proper attitude one should have toward outer space. It is part of our lives, and we should accept it. And instead of marveling at it and being amazed by it all the time, we really need to integrate it into our lives and think, okay, even if I go to space, I'll come back. My house will be here. My husband will be here. I'll have a child. I'll have things to do. My life will go on, and space will have been part of it. So here I am in my new Turinese office, which is the Vigna di Madama Reale, sometimes known as the Villa Abegg. So Yasmina and I, and my wife, are in residency in this 375-year-old Turinese building. Thanks to the good graces of the Company of St. Paul, or the Campagna di San Paolo. So this is a Campagna di San Paolo building, which the company manages. They're 500 years old, and the building's 375 years old, and I'm not as old as that, but I'm in this building. And I'm trying to write some science fiction in there, right? I actually have an office up in the attic. I'm on the top floor. Here I am in my office of this Turinese building. It dates back to the time of Manzoni's Promessi Sposi. So I'm in there and I'm reading Manzoni's Promessi Sposi in my ancient attic. And I'm trying hard to sort of, think about the future and think about it from really an Italian perspective. And I'm learning valuable lessons from being in this very old building. So you can see from this picture that I've got a fax machine, which is rather old. And I've got a landline telephone with a wire, which is rather old. And I've got some printed books, and most of those books are about history from 300 or 400 years ago. And above my head, you can't see it, are some big electrical cables that carry the electrical power into my building, because of course my building is much older than electrical power. And I also have some cables that bring my wireless internet into my attic. And the cable actually goes out the wall of the palace and literally just drops to the floor on the outside of the building. So I'm in there, and I'm looking at these many technical revolutions that have happened in the lifetime of this building. Just a lot. Like running water, right? It didn't have plumbing when it was built. It has an elevator, which didn't exist. That's like a motor. It has electrical cables. They didn't exist. Now they're there. They're just kind of clamped onto the wall. It has the fax machine, which existed, was popular for a while, and is now old-fashioned. It has the landline telephone, which is being gone. It's going to be replaced by 5G, presumably. And it makes me aware that our digital day is one day in these hundreds of years. Because it is. So I'm trying to outthink this. It's like, what is the nature of this problem? Can I solve this? Can I design a way to integrate the future into this building? because I'm writing science fiction in there. I mean, I'm really trying to do it. What is the nature of the problem? Is it an engineering problem? Is it something I can fix with an invented gadget? Or is it part of the human condition? If it is, it's a very Italian part of the human condition. What will remain of our digital day after 375 years, is a cultural sensibility. And I think it's something Italians need to think about at this historical point, because digital technology is getting old, and technologies that are old actually play into your hands. I think Italians, well, they're very famous, of course, for food, fashion, and furniture. Food, fashion, and furniture. It's the cliche of Italian cultural activism. But what Italians are really good at is integrating the past and the future in a graceful and attractive way. And I see this as a design problem, but it's also a literary problem. It's something I have to say to people. I have to make a case for this, right? For a kind of different and more historically informed fantascienza, right? I have to stretch my imagination farther than I did before. And so do the rest of us. I think this is what lies ahead for the digital revolution as it's become a digital establishment. It's just got to do a better job of making itself part of life. And I know that there will be exciting breakthrough technologies, in the 21st century. Things are coming that we've never heard of. In 2019, it's about 4.0 this, 4.0 that, 5.0 this, the fourth time, the fifth time. There will be a one thing. I mean, there's going to be something that's just like shockingly different and genuinely radical. But it's not what we have now. What we have now is really the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, and the 7s. And we need to think that through, right? And I think your part of the world is responsible for that. I think that's actually a cultural burden that lies very heavy on your shoulders. I don't think the Californians can do it. I don't think the Chinese can do it. There are other European nations that can do it, but most of them don't do as good a job as you. I urge you to think of it as kind of a moral challenge, and you need to do it with a light heart. You need to do it in the kind of Samantha Cristoforetti way, right? And if you do that, people will follow you. I mean, they admire you. You have allure. It's not just about food, fashion, and furniture. The truth is that when people in China or in Silicon Valley make a lot of money, or when they retire or quit, they want to eat like you, they want to dress like you, and they want to live like you. Yeah, I mean, you actually have the sensibility they desire, right? They see your life as a kind of end game for their efforts, and that puts you in a remarkable and kind of important situation. And I hope that advice about the future will help you. So thank you for your attention.